Well, hello, welcome back to the shop. I've decided to start something new on my YouTube channel. I'm going to be starting a how-to series. These are just short videos of how to do something on a bike. If you would like to see the longer video of the entire bike rebuild or revival or road ready or chopper build, I'll put a link into it down in the bottom. This video is about rebuilding those old Magneti Marelli, the M&M EFI early fuel injections on the old Harleys. And so I hope you enjoy this. Again, if you want to see the full revival video of this 1999 Road King, then the link is down in the descriptions. So welcome back to Butler Customs Motorcycle Shop. All right, so we got our tank off. We got the crossover motor mount off. A James gasket kit, Magneti Marelli fuel injector gasket and seal kit. It also comes with the injectors, gaskets. It comes with the new intake gaskets. It comes with these things that I don't know what they are. We'll find out. These two things, I have no idea. Maybe that's the O-rings on the bottom of the injectors. The blue things, not sure. And then this thing, no clue. But this is pretty neat because we'll be able to go through that whole throttle body. If you've never seen an M&M fuel injection coming apart and going back together, well, we're doing that now. So we're gonna take this throttle body out, injectors out, get these out, our crossover bar, so our breather bolts, and then we can start taking all of our sensors and stuff apart. These had red Loctite on them. Didn't want them things going nowhere, did they? Now our breather bolts here. All right. So when you pull these off, there's a washer on the outside that sets up. It's got a bigger diameter here that sets up inside the head of the bolt. Then on these crossovers here, I'll get this out. You'll have a washer on this side and a washer on that side. And the smaller ones, they will not go all the way over the breather bolt. Now the crossover hose comes down and goes back into this plate here. Kind of breathes back into the throttle body. You can kind of see now how big this daggum throttle body is. Now we got sensors. You got the position kind of sensor there. You have another sensor or kind of mechanical mechanism here for your throttle. I think that's for like your idle, like when it warms up, kind of opens up. There's another little sensor here. Okay, and that goes to a little sensor back here. Now everything on this side's out except our throttle cables. All right, our throttle cables up here are 3/8 on both the lock nut and the adjuster. So I'll run the lock nut back. And I'll run this adjuster all the way in. All right, so here we have our temperature sensor. You can just pull that back. There's a tab there we'll pull up and pop that off. What I like to do is go ahead and take this sensor out, because when you're in here breaking these free, you can accidentally hit this and crack this clip off that your wire harness goes into, and then that's not good. So I like to go ahead and take this sensor out, get it out of the way so I don't damage it trying to get the intake off. And that is a 3/4 inch, and I believe there's enough room to run a deep socket on there, just enough room, so that's good. Just give it a little crack, and then I won't loosen this with this on here. I'll take it off, because if not, you'll get your tools, your ratchet stuck. There's your temp sensor. Now with that out of the way, I will take something, cover that hole so that I don't get any debris down in there. And now here we've just got on this side and this side standard bolts. On the other side we've got those Allen bolts. Oh, 1/2 inch. There we go. Now usually these will crack and pop on you just where they've been in there and heated and cooled and heated and cooled. But these are coming off pretty easy. Now these intake sort of housings here, they're slit so that you can just pull the intake off the other side, but I'll go ahead and take these out for the moment. Then when my throttle body comes out, I will go ahead and stick these in first, and that helps me get this bracket on to kind of line it up. But I do want these out all the way. That'll help with removing it. You have your injector connectors. So this, of course, for the front cylinder, this is for the rear. Now the way you get these off, and you need to be careful about them, is that you'll actually push this metal clip inside. You don't pull these out, you push them in. Now, if they've been in there a minute, they're going to be hard to get out with this under the bike. So I just want to try and see. Okay, that one come out. So say you'll just push that metal piece in. Let me see if I can get this one out. Yeah, okay, very good. Everything's off the throttle body except the throttle cables, but they're loose. So now we can just go loosen the other sides of these here, and we can bring the throttle body out that side. All right, so here's the back of the rear jug, and that's the Allen we need to take out, 1/4 inch. So with these throttle bodies, they leave you more room than the carburetor intakes. So you can usually, with a wobble socket, just get on there. What in the, there we go. And then we'll just very carefully try to break this free. There we go. All right, we'll get that out. The other one over here with this wobble, I can actually go in this hole here to get to this other side on the front cylinder. And that gives me a little bit better angle there. Now there's nothing holding this throttle body on. We're ready now to just kind of wiggle to break it free, and it'll come right out. Now we can go ahead and, oh, these are on there. Man, this needed this anyway. Okay, now I want to show you something here. So this front cylinder had a whole lot of blow by. You see this here? How it's discolored? That means it was blowing out here. There wasn't a good seal on this intake on the front cylinder. Now our throttle body's ready to come off. The only thing holding it on is our cables. And now that we got the slack out, we should be able to bring this cable out. And this one is already coming out as well. We got to run it back through here to get the slack we need. All right, that's out. Now our throttle body's out. Look at this big spaceship. Goodness gracious. The only thing holding these injectors in is this right here. See how it's got these tabs here? And it's holding these as well. So once we break this free, which I didn't have room to do under here, so I got to hold the throttle body and probably get an impact on that just to break it free. Then we can take both injectors out. I'll mark them of which injector is which, because I don't want to put this over here and then all of a sudden the wiring be backwards. I don't think it matters, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to keep them the same. Now I went over to the table and gave this a little zip with my impact gun. And this is a big T50 bit here, but I want to show you how this goes in. So this bolt does not thread into the throttle body. I guess they did that so that you wouldn't over tighten the bolt and crack the throttle body, which is a pretty good design and idea. Actually, when you loosen this bolt here, there is a little bracket down here that the bolt threads into. So when you take this bolt out, ooh, it's a long bolt. It's not actually a bolt. It's actually a nut. Check that out. It's actually a nut. So then the bolt is actually attached to this bracket here. So now this plate should lift up, and then that gives us access to these up here and to our injectors. Now I've already marked R for rear and rear on here, and F for front and F up here, so I don't get them mixed up. Now these injectors should lift up and out, and I want to be careful not to break that off. They've been in here a long time. And then this right here, how do you come off? Do you just go back through your hole? Looks like that's how it would work. But then how do you come out? Do you come out? Yeah, you wiggle. All right, there's the injector sprays up under there. Oh, I think the whole thing comes out with the collar. Yeah, it's going to come up. I just don't want to pull here and break this. Let me get a little pry up under here, and by tool, I mean my pocket knife. I'm going to use my big wide blade and just see if I can just get that to raise up. Now, what are these little rubber things here? Okay, I need to stop. I need to do my research because I've never taken one of these apart. Okay, so on this Magneti Marelli, this M&M throttle body, it's from 99 to 01, so they only made this thing for 3 years, or this style I should say. This sensor right here, here's your intake or your air filter. This sensor right here is your throttle position sensor. So this is one you don't want to mess with. Right here is a temp sensor for the intake. Here is your idle sensor for when your bike, start the bike and it's cold, it'll go a higher idle. So if you're watching here, when I pull this back, the butterfly's open. And then when it's pulled back, it's closed. So I would say when the bike is cold, this is closed, closes the butterflies. As the bike warms up, this reads a temperature, and then your temperature on the front head gives a reading to the ECM. This begins to open to adjust your idle. Of course, you have your rear injector, your front injector. Number 6 here is your return, what do they call it? Fuel fitting return line. And here is the fuel fitting supply line. This was the one that was spraying crazy with those other gaskets. That's the exploded view. We're not going to be taking the throttle linkages out. We will be cleaning them, but not taking them apart. This is for the 02 models, and in the 02 models, you can tell they changed a lot. So they only ran this design for 3 years. That's why parts might be hard to find. If the flanges are not marked, label them with an F and an R so they will be reinstalled in the correct locations. I did not mark those. Why are they different? What's different about them? If you line the holes up, one set of holes up at the bottom and line the sides up, they'll be way off at the top. See that? The rear flange here will not go on the front. So if you put your bolt in with the intake off, and then you try to move this up to get this to line up to the bolt hole, it will not fit. So they are made different. They should have stamped them, you know? Because gosh, if you're just going to pick up a flange and you're thinking any flange will work, they won't. There's a front and there's a rear. So I've got them marked now, but they're easy to tell. So I guess if you didn't do that step and you go to put these back on, so let's line up the bottom and look at the top, how that don't line up. You put these on and you go to slide them up into the heads, and you're like, why ain't this bolt hole lining up? Well, that's why. Flip them over. We're progressing. There is no instructions on taking this down any further than what it is. The actual service manual is not showing me how to take this apart any further. It shows me how to adjust this if it's not idling correctly, which is good. I took a Sharpie, marked S for send and R for return. I don't know if they're different or not, but I want to put them back in the same place. And there's this little ridge here, and I'm wondering if, see how that kind of moves? I think they're so hard to get off because They've been on there, ooh, so long. Oh, she's hiccups. Oh yeah, see how that come up? If I can just get under there, can this pop, does this pop out? We're about to see. I thought about taking some vice grips and, you know, pliers and grabbing it, but I don't want to booger up where those O-rings sit. Huh, all right. There is an O-ring there, and it is hard as a rock. So that other one should do the same, right? Look down in there, oh gosh. Yeah, we needed to do that. We needed to clean this out. Look where fuel, oh, it stinks, has set down in there. Okay, that one's coming up too. Boy, they're stuck in there though. So now I wonder, does this one pop out too, out the bottom? I'm smelling tons of old gas too. Okay. Oh wow. Okay, there's that bolt thing. We'll leave that on there. So we've got, looks like a little filter here. And that filter, look how clogged that filter is. So it's a good thing we did this. And another little O-ring there. So I'm going to take this off, just to help me to remember to put this back on. I'm going to leave those alone. I bet that right there comes out. But my kit did not come with a new one of these. So it looks like it's metal filter. So I'm going to spray that out. There we go. Wow. I'm glad we're doing this. Look at all that. That's what was holding me up in there. Now these, I'm really worried about these because they look to be plastic, and I don't want to break this plastic. They're so old, they're not even turning. Do I press that out? I mean, it's coming up, but I just don't like putting this much force on that injector. I think I'm going to take a little socket that'll fit right around the edge of that injector. The nozzle is up in there, so I don't have to worry about that. But just to fit in there, I think if I tap that, see how that O-ring's just old and getting caught in there? If I keep doing this, I'm going to break this, and this is what holds the injector down. I don't want to do that. So maybe that's how they come out. They just kind of tap out there. This is already kind of receding back, so it's coming out. But in 30 seconds, fits right over that injector and goes in the hole. And then I got a little mallet here. Yeah. That shot it right out. All right, our first injector is out. Looks like there is a screen again for fuel. That's good. So they're really not wanting, you know, any trash to get in those injectors, so that's good to see. Now we can replace these and clean these, and these are hard. That's why it was so hard to get out. Gosh, these are hard. Now we should be able to do the same for this injector, though it's going to take probably a little bit more force because we've not moved this one. We've not tried to pry this one up yet. Yes. Oh, all right. Oh, look in there. Can you see in there? It is nasty and it stinks. Oh, so glad we decided to do this. And it's the same thing, very, very hard, very swollen and stiff. All right, so hiccups are gone. And hey, we're learning a lot about old technology. Now, when we put these back in, we clean everything up, it should be, if the injectors are spraying, it should be doing good. If there was a lot of trash on this right here, this little screen before, the final screen before it gets to the injectors, I'd be concerned, but they're clean. And when I look up in the spray nozzle, it's clean. There's no trash or nothing up in there. All right, I think I got everything cleaned up best I can. It looks a whole lot better inside there. Got our injectors cleaned up, filter cleaned up. I guess this is the regulator. I've got these return and supply nozzles cleaned up. and then the rest are just brackets. From what I gather, you've got these little plastic things here, and you've got one on this. What I'm figuring is that these plastic things keep that O-ring from, when you push it in, from, you know, squeezing down off this smooth ridge. So then on this one, you would put the O-ring here with this bushing on top to keep the O-ring from sliding down past where it should. And then up here, of course, you got this big thing here. Fuel line lowers go down in here. I will oil these up since they are O-rings that are injectors. Are next. Alright, well, that floss ain't working. The floss ain't flossing too good. Let's just use that. There. Perfect. And now we got our smaller one here. It goes over this. I think I can just get this on my fingers. There we go. And then this one's done. This is the rear, so it'll go here. All right, just like that, our injectors are done. Our supply things are done. Now we've got this, I call it a fuel regulator, but it's probably not. So this one actually gets pushed up, so I want to make sure this ring is at the bottom, like that. These aren't as thick, so they, of course, don't have much trouble getting on. And then this one right here. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so the way it looks like this goes up in here, it looks like this O-ring here is going to set up in here and seal. So I guess fuel that's not used in here will fill up through this screen into this and return up through here and back. Okay, there's a diaphragm here. So I guess when enough pressure gets in here, it'll release that diaphragm and let fuel go up through here, back to my return line, back into the tank. So I'm saying that to say this. I think I'm going to press these in first before I put this in. That way when I start to put this in, I can make sure I got it up into this. Because these are thinner, they should be easier to kind of snap up in there. And then I've got this that'll actually go up in there like that. That'll help me as I tighten to press that up in there. So I don't think I can push, oh gosh. All right. There you go. You just push them in. I guess since they're, you know, new O-rings, I guess that's how they're supposed to come out probably too. Now I know I got two O-rings I'm fighting here, this one and this one at top. So it might not press on as easy, but I bet we can tighten that down, and then this is our rear. Because I'm not sure what we're supposed to do to get these to set in. And we can stick this up under here. I'll try to get this to kind of seat up in there. And then by theory, that. So I should be able to tighten that down and it'll draw these down. I'm hoping that's what will happen. And I guess that's why that's so long. So I'm going to slowly try to tighten this to see if it draws these down. I hope it doesn't bend these tabs. My O-rings look like they're kind of centered and ready to go. All right, now let's see how this works. Is this going to draw them down? Looks like it is. Yep, it's drawing them down. Now, I did oil them up. That helps a whole lot. Wow, that was actually... I ain't gonna say nothing until it's done. Huh. Well, there you go. That was actually easy. super easy. So the hard part was actually just getting them off where they were so old and, you know, afraid of cracking or breaking something. So now we can go ahead with these O-rings up here. Run this down. I'll usually do the floss, but this little bitty screwdriver works pretty good. We're working with new ones, so, and I apologize for my greasy fingernails. You know, when I watch videos of people working on stuff, I'll tell you a pet peeve. If there's somebody got a long, if there's a dude working that has a long fingernail, nope, I turn it off. I cannot watch that. I know it's weird, but okay. Oh, those are going to be so much better. I think this is going to be the ticket, guys and gals. Okay, we got our longer line here. You'll see a little thing at the top and nothing at the bottom, smooth at the bottom, little ridge here at the top. You just want to make sure these are pointed up, and we'll run it right around here, and then we'll see. Oh, so much better. So much better. Now we can load our snap ring on. And we can go right around there like that. And there. Oh, guys, I cannot tell you how much better that is. Perfect. All right, we'll just do the same to this one over here. Now we're ready. We can go ahead and put our intake gaskets and flanges on. Now you'll see on these intake gaskets, they're concaved, convex, I don't know what the word is. So on the flanges, they'll be concave, or I guess, okay. If this is concave, this is convex. I don't know. Anyway, line them up. You want these gaskets to where they set flush. And then what I like to do, because you might have to, when you put this throttle body on, you might have to move the throttle body up and down. If these are dry, they could kind of bulge out on you. So take you just a film of oil and just go around there. Okay, not so much on the inside, but on the outside. And let's see, this was the front. This will actually set back like this. So the curved side will go toward the motor. There we go. Kind of evenly on that like that. And then we can still kind of move this around to where our hose are going to be. But now that's flush. And then as we draw these bolts down on the head, it's going to give us a good seal around there. So it's a lot easier to do it with it off like this. And then I just want to be careful of everything. Take a little bit of oil on this flat side. I'll go ahead and put this on. Let's see, what am I looking at? It's going to go like that. Go ahead and put the curved side down so it fits down in that flange, just like that. And then we can still kind of move it around. And then we'll get it kind of mounted on there, and then we're going to have to move this intake up or down depending on how it lines up with our breather bolts. So I'll show you how to do that. But we're essentially ready now to put this back on the bike. Now before I throw this up in there, I want to start the bolts in the heads on the left side of the bike if you're sitting on the bike. And once I get those seated up on there, then it's easier to get the Allen heads in there. Now I got a little bit ahead of myself. I should have done the throttle cables before I put these flanges on, but I'm just going to twist the throttle to make sure I've got the right one that does the pull, the go fast cable, and it's actually on this back side. Comes around here. Get this up. Get this up. There we go. We get this bolt started here, and this one here, I want to make sure that I'm setting where I'm supposed to be. Okay, I'm just getting them kind of snug for right now so that my throttle body doesn't, fall down. Now let me make sure I got my cables where they're supposed to go. Start drawing this down. Now on these, you don't use any Loctite on these. You sure don't want those breaking off in the head. Oh man, that looks a whole lot better. All right, let me tighten up the other two. Now, since we oiled up those intake seal things on the heads, we can actually make minor adjustments here if we need to move this up or if we need to move this down in order to get everything to line up for a breather bolt. Now we can just start connecting things again. There's that one. Okay. There's this little one back here for our temp. And I did replace that gasket. And then our throttle position, which we did not monkey with, and hopefully we don't have to. There's that. All right, that, and now just our injectors back there. Should be able to put this on and squeeze that in and make sure that's locked in. Now we can go ahead and put our engine temp sensor in, this thing right here. Again, I don't use any Loctite. You don't have to thread or put plumber's tape around this, any kind of tape around it, because there's nothing in this hole. It's just a threaded hole. And the reason I put a paper towel up in there is so that I didn't get any debris fall down in the threads and then try to tighten this temp sensor down and then, you know, break something or crack something. All right, we'll pull this up a little bit. So you want to make sure you get a good clip on that. That'll go on just like that. And then you got that little cover that goes down. Just like that. Okay, got everything kind of cleaned up best I could. Blew up out in through there. Stuck our new gasket on. Cleaned off all the threads. Line our throttle body up now to where these holes line up pretty good for us. Get those started in there. All right. Now I will blue Loctite these, but not right now. These are hollowed bolts, so don't get crazy with them. We'll draw these up in a crisscross pattern because these bolt right into your throttle body. Got our crossover back on, everything bolted down. These O-rings that I put on new last time, we never even really got to test them, so they're good. Got our lines on, got our tank on, got the fuel level hooked up, got the pump line hooked up, got the vent hooked up, put about 1 gallon in it. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cycle the on and off the pump with this. So I got my console hooked back up. Let me go ahead and fire that on. Now let's cycle this on. We should hear the fuel pump and we can check for leaks. All right. I'm gonna cycle it a couple times. I hear fuel pumping now. And the pump changed tones. I hear it gurgling in there, getting all that air out. Okay, I don't see anything yet. Oh, that sounds good. Yes, I think we got it. Will it start? Let's try it again. That sounds a lot better. Cross your fingers, cross your toes. So good. Sounds like a new motor. Let me check the oil pressure. Yep. Oh. It runs. It sounds good. Ah, yes, yes, yes. I knew once I heard the tone of that fuel pump change that we were on to something there. Yes, awesome. And it fires up so much nicer now. Pump sounds good. So thank you so much for helping me out, and tell your mama and them I said hi.